This is Top 30, 30 stories in 30 minutes.
Okay, so you don't want to brave the Black Friday crowds, but you still want to get a great deal. That's what Cyber Monday's for, shopping from the comfort of your own home. Here at Top 30, we've compiled some Cyber Monday tips so you can save time and shop with ease. You know how you look up a product on Amazon and then suddenly ads start popping up for that product on every website you visit? Well, it turns out the brand knows how often you return to that product page to eye that item. And that might stop you from getting a discount, since deals are usually determined product by product, person by person. Well, a simple trick: clear your browsing history before you finally take the plunge on that must-have item. Also, download the Slice app to track the prices of your purchases over time. If you bought something and the price dropped afterwards, Slice will notify you and help you get a refund of the difference. Lastly, take advantage of buy one, get one deals and gift bundles, especially at beauty stores. Follow these tips and you'll be sure to have a successful Cyber Monday. You'd think kids as young as 10 have it pretty easy, no major adult responsibilities. But new research says kids that young start to feel the crushing weight of gender stereotypes. According to Bustle, the Global Adolescent Study, which was done in conjunction with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the World Health Organization, looks at how gender roles and expectations affect teens globally. The study reviewed the lives of preteens by interviewing 450 boys and girls between the ages of 10 and 14 about the concepts they've been taught about gender. Researchers then outlined these answers to produce the possible sexual, societal, and medical consequences these stereotypes have. Lead author Robert Blum of Johns Hopkins University said, "We were very surprised to see such a universality of the myth that boys are strong, confident, and leaders, while girls are weak and incompetent who should be quiet and follow." Researchers say these findings are a gender straitjacket for children who are essentially strangled by the preconceived notions about who they should be based on their gender.
The average big rig truck gets less than 7 miles per gallon of diesel, making gas a major expense for trucking companies. So some truck manufacturers are looking to make big rigs greener. According to the Wall Street Journal, improving gas mileage by just 1 mile per gallon would be equal to removing 200,000 trucks from the road. US Express Enterprises Chief Executive Eric Fuller told the Wall Street Journal, "Fuel is such a large cost for us that we have every incentive to try to get the best miles per gallon we possibly can. Any kind of technology that helps us get there usually pays for itself." Some truck makers like Cummins and Tesla are working on prototypes of fully electric models. So yes, 7 miles to the gallon is not very good, but soon enough trucks will be electric and driverless, so none of this will even matter.
82-year-old Dale Sanders, affectionately known as Graybeard, became the oldest person to hike the entire Appalachian Trail, a whopping 2,190 miles stretching from Georgia to Maine. Sanders beat the record previously set by Lee Berry in 2004, who completed the trail when he was 81. Sanders told Outside Magazine, "I feel numb right now. It's a really euphoric experience. I'm just so thankful to the people who have helped me." The trip took Sanders 7 months to complete. During his journey, he even ran into Ellie Quirin, who became the youngest person to hike the entire trail at the age of just 18 months. This isn't the first record Sanders has set. In 2015, he became the oldest person to paddle the Mississippi River, 2,300 miles from source to sea. Sanders proves you're never too old to accomplish your goals, no matter what they are.
Here is your top 30 health roundup. A study from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, found foods high in potassium like bananas, avocados, spinach, and potatoes may reduce your chance of heart disease. Researchers found mice with lower potassium diets had more hardened arteries than mice who ate more potassium, and hardened arteries are linked to a heart attack. The findings could lead to new therapies and diets to help control cardiovascular disease. According to the CDC, heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States for both men and women. And next, a deadly outbreak of the pneumonic plague has hit Madagascar. The pneumonic plague is considered even more dangerous than the bubonic plague, which infamously killed 60% of Europe's population during the Black Death. The World Health Organization is on high alert and has sent millions of doses of antibiotics to the African island. If left untreated by antibiotics, the pneumonic plague is 100% fatal. And finally, the American Academy of Pediatrics has released updated blood pressure guidelines for children. Included in the new recommendations is a simplified chart that shows normal blood pressure levels based on a child's age and gender. Elevated blood pressure and hypertension has risen in children, largely due to increasing rates of obesity. Experts recommend parents encourage their child's pediatrician to take a blood pressure reading at every check. An international competition is offering $1 million to anyone who can build a personal flying machine. There have been numerous attempts to construct one of these, but each has its limitations. To win this competition, the machine must carry a person 20 miles, do it without refueling or recharging, and be able to make a vertical takeoff and landing. A company called Kitty Hawk has released a video of its personal flying machine and says it will start selling them by the end of the year. As for the $1 million competition, designers have until 2019 for the fly-off.
There's a new study about kids and television that may make parents want to rearrange the kiddos' room over the weekend. The study out of Iowa State University points out children who have a TV or video game console in their bedroom have a higher chance of getting bad grades, being obese, and/or having a media-related addiction. The study's lead author, Douglas Gentile, says being glued to the tube in their own personal space is different than, say, the living room, saying it, quote, gives children 24-hour access and privatizes it in a sense. So as a parent, you monitor it less. When it's in their room, kids ultimately watch what they want, a fact that scientists say can also lead to aggressive behavior stemming from watching and imitating aggressive content. They add TV can take the place of reading, sleeping, and being generally productive. Of course, no parent wants to be the television police, but keeping these findings in mind, maybe a little bad cop is worth it.
A father built a playhouse for his kids that's 24 feet tall, has a loft and even a rock climbing wall. The Michigan man, who's president of a construction company, originally started to create a typical backyard playhouse, then it spiraled into much more. So he ended up adding swings, a slide, a bridge, and a rock climbing wall. Inside the house, there are 8-foot ceilings, lights, hardwood floors, and a loft. His daughters helped out where they could during construction, and their father calls that the most rewarding part of the process. The home has got national attention and led the builder to create a new company, Spoiled Rotten Homes, so other parents can buy elaborate playhouses for their children.
Ariana Huffington says you should sleep your way to the top, literally, by getting more sleep. Getting enough sleep is critical to perform at your best in work and in life. Doctors recommend adults sleep at least 7 hours in a 24-hour period. But sometimes work schedules and commute times don't allow for that. So one way to reduce your sleep debt is to take afternoon naps. Scientists say humans are biologically programmed to sleep at night and take a nap in the mid-afternoon. So those European countries are onto something with their siestas. Dr. David Dingus from the University of Pennsylvania offered some tips to get the most out of your afternoon power nap. Find a cool, dark place to lie down and make sure you put your electronics away. Also, be sure to set an alarm so you don't oversleep. And don't nap after 4 p.m. or you can have issues falling asleep later for the night. Who knows, maybe your new nap habit can help you kick your coffee addiction. The New York Post did us all a favor and collected tips from 3 leading nutritionists to keep us from packing on the pounds this holiday season. First, do interval training. These are high-intensity workouts with rest or relief periods. Nutritionist Alex Woods recommends 30 minutes of interval training 3 to 4 times a week. Interval training allows the body to burn more calories over a shorter time than steady cardiovascular exercise. Next, add protein to your diet. Protein has been proven to keep you fuller longer. This will keep you from eating all those tempting holiday treats. Also, eat every 3 hours. Nutritionist Marilyn Glenville says, try to keep your blood sugar levels and energy levels stable by eating regularly. And don't forget to get plenty of sleep. Nutritionist Martina Della Vedova said not sleeping can stop the body from shedding pounds. As a response, the body will slow the metabolism down and shifting pounds can become very difficult. Staying trim during the holidays can be hard, but it's not impossible if you have a plan.
Wedding planners deal with every aspect of putting together a couple's big day, so it would make sense that they'd have an innate skill set to tell if a couple's nuptials will last the test of time. Wedding planners say when they spot a couple drinking too much before the ceremony and at the reception, it's usually a bad sign for things to come. Actions speak louder than words, so whenever one half of the couple embarrasses their partner on their big day, it is seriously negative foreshadowing about their future. This one is pretty basic, but when planners notice the couple ignoring each other's needs, what might be in the couple's future is divorce calls. Finally, you can probably guess this one. If the bride or groom's ex shows up to the wedding, a storybook ending may not be on the cards. So if you've got a wedding ahead of you, know this: your wedding planner is constantly judging you and probably working out if they'll get repeat business.
In today's Hometown Stories, a program in San Diego, California pairs Marines with local families to celebrate Thanksgiving. The Armed Services YMCA on the Camp Pendleton Army Base started the Home Hospitality Adopt a Marine program. It helps Marines feel a little less lonely on Turkey Day. The Marines are typically recent boot camp grads, and every year more families apply than there are Marines to go around. So if you're in the San Diego area and want to host a Marine next year, be sure to register early. Spots fill up fast. In our second story, Helping Hounds Dog Rescue in Syracuse, New York, throws its annual Pumpkins Pooches fundraiser every fall. The event draws around 500 people each year and features local vendors, food trucks, bake sales, and even special events for our furry friends like a dog costume contest. More importantly, the organization helps pair dogs with forever homes. Helping Hounds matches over 1,200 dogs with loving families each year, making it a festive fall tradition in the community. In our final story from Fox 29 Philadelphia, Manna is a local charity that provides thousands of free meals to people with critical illnesses.
So Manna, we are all about food as medicine. We provide therapeutic meals to right now about 1,200 of our neighbors that are fighting the fight for their life.
Manna delivers over 95,000 meals each month. That's over 1 million meals a year. Better yet, they are giving people battling serious diseases one less thing to worry about every day.
The concept of humans creating organs was presented to a group of scientists who gathered for a Hub Week presentation entitled The Organ Generation. According to the Boston Globe, the talk included how emerging technologies may cause organ donation to decline, as well as the bioethics of creating organs. The moderator of the talk, science writer Sharon Begley, explained that during the 90-minute panel, 9 people in the US would be added to the national transplant list, but 1 patient on that wait list would also die during that time. The organs will be created on lab rats using emerging technologies and then implanted into people on transplant lists, but probably not any time in the near future. The really interesting fact of this story is the belief that self-driving cars will lead to a decline in organ donation overall.
What do you do when you order a meal and are less than satisfied? Would you rather suffer in silence than complain? But as top chef judge Tom Colicchio told Business Insider, it's okay to send a meal back. If you're in the restaurant and there's something that you don't like, you have to let us know, because that's the only way that we can turn that around and make you happy. This nonsense where I'm afraid if I send something back, they're going to spit in my food, that's crazy. It's not going to happen. It's for this reason Colicchio says the worst thing you can do when you're unhappy with the meal is to not say anything to the waiter and tweet about how terrible it was. If you tell the restaurant what's wrong while you're there, they have a chance to correct it. The mark of a good restaurant is its customer service, so next time, speak up.
A new computer game doesn't sound that much fun because it is all about student debt. Payback is a free online game that simulates the all-too-common experience of going into debt as a college student. It starts with decisions like applying to college and buying items for dorms. Players go through a simulated 1 to 4 years while choosing how much to spend or save going out with friends, choosing summer jobs, and buying interview clothes. The game tracks their debt as well as their academic focus, social connections, and overall happiness. At the end, players are shown the amount of debt they accrued and an estimated salary based on the major they chose. Tim Ranzetta is one of the game's creators. He used to work as a student loan consultant and would receive calls from debt-burdened students in tears. The intent behind the game is to teach students the right price to pay for college. Student loan debt in America currently totals over $1.3 trillion.
It seems obvious that a common interest in music and activities could be shaped by our partner, but a new study found coupledom can affect even our taste buds. The report, published in the journal Appetite, examined 100 couples who had been together anywhere between 3 months to 45 years. Smell and taste preferences were then rated by each. Researchers found couples were more likely to share the same preferences for smell and taste the longer they had been together. While the exact reason for this is unknown, the research stated shared environment and habits might together shape similar preferences in both partners. Previous studies have also shown people who smell the world similarly are more likely to be compatible, which makes sense as smell is tied to taste.
According to Michael Bess, a historian and author at Vanderbilt University, the fate of humanity is dangerously close to becoming a sci-fi novel. In most science fiction stories, technology advances, but people stay fundamentally the same, something that Bess calls the Jetson fallacy. However, he points to Aldous Huxley's sci-fi novel Brave New World that accurately depicts the future of Earthlings. Bess breaks down these new theories about the future in his new book, Our Grandchildren Redesigned: Life in the Bioengineered Society of the Near Future. And in it, he explores the relationship between plastic surgery, pharmaceutical drugs, prosthetics, and genetics, and where this combination may be gearing to take us as a society. And the historian says the vapid caste system and mind-numbing effects of pharmaceuticals depicted in Brave New World may very well be the fate of mankind within the next 75 to 100 years. And he explains that our ability to engineer physical perfection is something he calls the creeping commodification of humanity. Bess says biotechnology is giving us a capability not just to change our world as we did in the Industrial Revolution of the early 1800s, but to change ourselves, to manipulate and redesign our own bodies and minds. And he says that this will contribute to the widening of the gap between the rich and the poor in every area of life. But the other side of the argument, as chronicled in another recent book, Homo Deus, science may well cause humans to change, and it could be for the much better. 7 out of 10 millennials get anxiety when their smartphone is out of reach. You're probably not surprised, but a poll by lendedu.com surveyed more than 7,000 millennials asking, do you get anxiety when you do not have your phone with you? Overall, 69% said yes, while only 31% said no. It's interesting to note the difference between the men's and women's responses. 76% of women said they felt anxious, while only 63% of men answered yes. The US Census Bureau estimates there are currently 75.4 million millennials in the United States. This despite the fact that no one can agree on what the exact definition of a millennial is. Voters in Nevada legalized recreational marijuana last November, and it looks like it's really paying off. Legal sales kicked off this July, and according to the Nevada Department of Taxation, dispensaries sold $27.1 million of pot in the first month alone. That is more than double what states like Colorado and Oregon sold in their first months. Most importantly is the tax revenue generated from these sales. It added up to an astonishing $10.2 million for the state of Nevada. Stephanie Klepstein, spokeswoman for the Department of Taxation, told the Reno Gazette-Journal that Nevada is projected to generate nearly $120 million from taxes over the next 2 years, meaning more money for schools and the state's rainy day fund for emergencies. In other words, money going to the government to help everyone rather than to drug dealers to help no one.
Age can mean everything in Hollywood, or nothing at all when it comes to marriage. Let's take a quick look through some of Tinseltown's biggest age gaps. Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones take the cake with a 25-year age gap. There's 12 years difference between Beyonce and Jay-Z, 17 years between George Clooney and his wife Amal, a 10-year gap with Ryan Reynolds and wife Blake Lively, and Ellen DeGeneres is 15 years older than her wife Portia de Rossi. There's also William H. Macy and his wife Felicity Huffman, who's 12 years younger than him. Viola Davis is also 12 years younger than her husband. Matt Bomer is 13 years younger than his husband. And finally, a different one, Hugh Jackman is 13 years younger than his wife, Deborah Lee Furness.
Thank you for watching. You can catch up with past episodes of Top 30 now on Hulu. You can also download the Top 30 mobile app and visit our website. We want to hear from you, so connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to @Top30TV for interviews and exclusive web content. We will see you next time on Top 30.